And to discuss the importance of Civil Services Day and what it symbolizes and what it means, and the Prime Minister's address, we have with us Mr. Devendra Choudhary, Secretary, Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us.
Thank you.
We'll start first with, we know that civil services are extremely competent people because after all, they come through a very tough selection process, probably one of the toughest in the world. And after that, there is this impression that, they're associated with a system that creates red tape. But this government comes in with the mantra of minimum government, maximum governance. And the Prime Minister today adds to that mantra and says reform, perform and transform. How different is it now?
It is in fact, it's very different, The slogan given today, the goal that we should be agents of change, Change is a very important thing when you're looking at implementation. And implementation is the keyword to any policy or planning. And in fact, that is why he has said that you should focus on implementation, and for that you have to link with the people. Because unless you link with the people who are your ultimate beneficiaries, you would not be able to find out what to change, how to change, when to change, and where to change. In fact, that's why he said that the Civil Services Day should not become a ritual. It should become an exercise of making everything very useful and find out the gaps and then implement them to fulfill them.
So you give away awards, and some districts where, civil servants have done very well. How does that sort of create a sense of competition and well-being, actually, so that people can see what's the best practices? Does it really, is it a healthy competition?
Yes, it is in fact very healthy, and we made sure that it is as healthy as it can be. One pillar of a Prime Minister's governance is governance with accountability and transparency. And therefore the awards were taken in such a manner that we had 170 criteria to select the 10 best districts out of 677.
Right.
And that involved calling up citizens. 7.62 lakh citizens were called, 25 lakh answers were logged, analyzed by a software algorithm, and then that was taken up for assessing. There was field visit by 76 Government of India officers. There are presentations by 74 collectors and district officers. So it's a process which covered 2 months and a rigorous process for selection. So that made sure there was transparency, there was accountability, all of it was logged. So that has given rise to a great faith in the selection process, which has resulted in promoting a certain competition to do and bring out one's best.
Right. So we speak about competition then, sir, but now competition will continue through the service right up to the top. But the civil services are designed in such a way that seniority prevails over merit. I mean, that's what people believe. To what extent can reforms, bring about so that, this healthy competition actually rewards the best performers?
Yes, you're very right when you say that, What we're trying to do now is going forward in the next 1 year, we're going to announce the programs which will enable states to perform well. Now, what we're looking at is one district can pick up one program out of 5 or 10 programs, and then we give it 1 year to perform in any manner it likes and bring about excellence. And then that's fully announced. The criteria is fully announced. So what happens is then that there'll be a competition amongst all the 677 districts to see who comes out first. And what the Prime Minister said? He just doesn't want 10 districts on the table. He wants as many as 70 districts on the table. And why shouldn't districts compete to get the best award? And that will generate a lot of competition, foster it, and bring forth the great benefits to the people and to the system from it.
How much unity is there, sir, amongst the civil services? Because there are various civil services. And there is also competition amongst them, one would say. And there is the state as well as the center. People would like to be transferred to the center. How does this, is there a sort of a healthy distribution of work, one would say?
I would say the achievement of any objective in the government involves one central principle, and that is convergence. Conversion of people, conversion of the team, conversion of departments, convergence of leadership, and the convergence of all the issues that are involved in it. And to that extent, I don't think there is a competition in that sense. That is cooperative competition, I would say, which helps, and which in the country itself, the Prime Minister gave the slogan of cooperative federalism.
Right.
So that is in fact the central feature. So it is not an issue of competition amongst civil servants. If there is a competition, it's a competition of trying to excel oneself, one's own self, and then come out with the best.
So there is the feeling that all, let's say, at least in the IAS, you're all generalists, and you'll change your jobs once in a few years. To what extent do you all become specialists? Which can help at some stage later on in raising the bar.
Very interesting question. In fact, if you look at the private sector, you will find that the top CEOs very often do not have to be from that domain. I mean, there was a time when Hewlett Packard chairman was nothing to do with computers. And I mean, you can look at the automobile sector, you can look at GE, now you can look at the country itself, So what happens is excellence is a feature which has 3 features, 3 points, Number 1, the ability to provide motivational leadership. Number 2, to connect with the customer, which is the people. And number 3, the will to deliver. There's a French proverb which says, vouloir c'est pouvoir. What that means is that when you have a will, you will deliver. Now, that's the point.
So the Prime Minister now says that it's a partnership for development. We know development is work in progress. And he says civil and service have to be combined, work with civil society. To what extent is this actually happening?
Actually, if you look at, if I have an opportunity of share with you the answers which people have given me, and the fact that also in another area called public grievances, we have now started calling up people, the minister has called up, Ms. Dr. Jiten Singh, I've called up people. And while, of course, there are all sides of, kinds of opinion, what is important is that I've heard, and I've got recorded, that people have said they are extremely happy that the Prime Minister has been able to motivate the civil servants to connect with the people in such a manner, and they would want this to be communicated to him through me. And that kind of shows the connect which is established.
So one final question, the younger generation that is coming into the civil services, you've seen many generations, change over time. And of course, the Prime Minister talks about change, but now with the new generation, they already come in with ideas which are different. How enthusiastic are you about the next generation of leadership?
Forget me, the Prime Minister is so enthusiastic, and he mentioned this in his speech today in the morning. He said, those who are seniors should not take upon themselves that they are right. And he quoted the parents. The parents try to always put up a one-up attitude with the children. And he said the elders also need to understand this, that the young generation which is coming is extremely innovative, extremely well-informed. They have the tools of information. Therefore, we should not have an attitude which says that I am right. And we should have a learning mechanism for that. So that's the point.
Mr. Devendra Choudhary, thank you very much for joining us here on Newsnight.
Thank you. Thank you very much.